Her pulse hammered in her ears and made her deaf to any other sound, only this time he didn't return. She frowned and spun back around. Pausing, she took in the space as a whole. Goddess, she hated this damned room, light and airy in direct contrast with her dark, heavy thoughts. Her eyes fell to the empty nightstand. Alastair had stopped refreshing the flowers and removed the vase on the day she could finally voice her complaint about the cloying smell of the roses. He'd brought her calla lilies that same afternoon. She'd insisted he remove those as well. Insisted he remove the book of poems and anything else of a romantic nature from her presence. She didn't want to be surrounded by lively, loving things when she was dead inside. Alastair sank into the plush leather-upholstered chair before the fire, cognac in hand. He took a long sip of the liquid without removing his gaze from the dancing flames. Christ, what had his life become? Nursemaid to a woman who hated him? Before that, pathetic excuse for a man. One who had believed in the end, love would conquer all. One who'd moved heaven and earth to bring his mate back from the brink of death. One who did things any other human being with a conscience would cringe at doing. One who hated himself most days. With another heavy sigh, he rested his head back against the chair. Now he had the witches' council on his ass, ready to strip his powers, or at least attempt to. He snorted. He'd like to see them try. No one was as powerful as a Thorn warlock, except Knox Carlyle and Quentin Buchanan, a little voice whispered. Yes, he doubted either would take up arms against him. They were mild-mannered men who only lived to love their women, Thorn women. They wouldn't rock the boat. A flicker of light appeared in the center of the room, an indication of an incoming witch. Only two knew what the interior of his study looked like and, as a result, could teleport in without harm. A blonde woman appeared, beautiful and slightly rumpled, with color high on her cheeks. Her eyes bright blue and questioning sought him out. Summer. Father. Daughter, he said with a slight twist of his lips at her formal tone. She'd grown up believing Alastair's brother, Preston, was her real father. Since learning the truth, the poor dear was still trying to figure him out. Her gaze fell to the tumbler in his hand, and a pained look crossed her features. She's still being difficult? However did you guess? He mocked as he lifted the glass. What can I do to help? I don't know if there's anything you can do. She's bitter because her powers didn't fully return when she woke. His mouth curled in a self-disgusted grimace. I'm sure she only wants them in order to be away from me. I'm sorry. Because she actually sounded as if she meant it, he said, Thank you, child. I'm assuming she doesn't want to meet any of us. See the women we've grown into? He started to shake his head and paused. An idea formed and brought with it a smile. Summer might be able to spend time with her mother after all. Uh-oh, I'm starting to recognize that look, she said as she moved closer. What do you have up your sleeve? Only one other person knew me so well. You're like her, at least the her that she used to be. He rose and moved to the sideboard to pour himself another drink. With a side glance, he held up an empty glass. When she shook her head, he put the stopper back in the bottle, took a slow sip of his cognac. It must be bad if she's caused you to drink first thing in the morning, Summer said wryly. Her touch on his forearm was gentle and caring. It warmed him as the alcohol hadn't. Alastair lifted her hand and dropped a kiss on her knuckles. Yes, she blames me for her condition and apparently despises me. I'm sorry, she said again. Unexpected emotion stirred in his chest. We were so in love. He looked up and met the compassion in her warm gaze. Not unlike you and your young man. She blinked away the tears forming, and he had the sense she understood his feelings. You'll get it back, Dad. Perhaps. Perhaps not. He drained his drink and set the glass on the sideboard. I want you to pose as a nurse. Her jaw dropped. With a chuckle, he tapped it closed and explained. I told her earlier I would hire someone to help her. Discounting the night we woke her in the clearing, she hasn't seen you since you were a young child. I doubt she would recognize you. It would be the perfect opportunity for you to help her recover mentally and be around her in the process. She opened her mouth to protest, but he forestalled her. You have medical knowledge, and what you don't know you can consult about with Winnie and